In tonight's video, we're going to talk about crewing for the new Augment Hostiles. They have a lot in common with the ones that were previously in the game. You go in there and you have a chaser or an attacker ship that's going to try to kill you in the system. These new attackers are the most powerful ships in the game. They got a 90% chance of sending you home, and it doesn't make a difference whether you're in a 40 system or you're in a 70 system. You still have that same 90% chance to die. So there's going to be a strategy to shake those, which I'll show you. This video is going to be mainly about crewing them. I'm going to show you some different options. And of course, it's going to depend on what level some of your officers are and which ones you actually have. That saying, we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on, I'm going to go in my biggest ship. This is my standard PvE, my meta. That, or I would put Janeway and the Doctor up here. Now this is going to be a power deal. So if you're having problems hitting them, we'll do another video on loot crew for these hostiles, but this one's for power. Okay, the 68 system is the most efficient one, where I just take too much hull damage in 70. In some crews that I was testing on didn't even survive a 70 up there. So this is the highest crew I can grind the most efficiently. Let's put it that way. So we're going to use the ability to go in here and look at these hostiles. Since there's no one in here, I can't show you the hunter. I'll show you when I get up here. We're going to actually do a run for a few of these. And the two abilities it has is isolated damage, and it's going to have apex barrier. Okay, so we're going to go with some different crews. I'm going to show you a bunch of them, so that way, because I've had a couple of gripes saying, well, I don't have this guy or whatever. So I'm going to give you some different crews you can use on here. This crew would be okay, but what I would do is I would take Paris out. Let's go below deck. And I would put Kazi in there. Why Kazi? Increases shred against Armada hostile. That's going to be key to defeating these hostiles, is the shred. So I'm going to put him below deck. I see I got him at tier 3. I imagine most of y'all have at least tier 1 or 2 maybe, unless you're a newer player. And if you are, I'm sorry, but this is a guy that you really need below deck. It works. My regular does okay, but it doesn't. It's leaps and bounds once you put a. So you could go with this crew, and you're gonna probably up there. I'm probably gonna do 40 hostiles with this crew, as is 40, and that's okay, but not great. But if I just go old school, OG, I take them out and I put DeGiorgio on one of the sides. Why DeGiorgio? Apex shred. So you put DeGiorgio on the side. You can even go old school. You can go Pike, and then go Group, Monroe. I tested this one. This one was pretty decent. So was it. So, say you didn't get your DeGiorgio that high. You can also go. Let's go Group then. Maybe I can find him easier. That you can put him in her place. Why? Increases. This one helps your apex barrier, so that gives you a boost. You can use him too. Or go back strength. You can go with pike. And since I'm in an interceptor, so we're going to need a Hora. So I put a Hora there. That does okay too. It doesn't do as good as the one I just showed you with Pike Monroe and him. But this one will work, or I would put DeGiorgio. If I have DeGiorgio, it would be definitely DeGiorgio. Let's go back lower deck again. This is if you got her high enough, because she has some synergy with Stranger New Worlds Pike, and that's a decent one. But the one that I'm using right now is none of those. Let's see. I'm not going to get her below deck. Let's go group. So what I've found out that I took out over just before I did this video, started the video, on a half a hole, I did 65. So that's going to give me roughly somewhere between 130 and 120 hostile, the most that I've been able to do. This is my meta crew, so much so that I'm going to go down here and save it. It's going to be the very bottom one. And I'm just going to save it. And I'm going to put Augment crew here. And crew. Save it for a preset. So now I can load this up in a second's time. And my strategy for ships is if I'm going for power, trying to grind reputation, I'm using my Krechna here. Because I can do 68s. Like I said, I can do over 120 68s. Let's go ahead and we're going to fly into the system. Okay, so now we're in the system. So the biggest thing is go ahead and kill one of them to start with, because it starts the process faster. Because usually I'll get the warning sign right after I pop the first one. And you want to use the battle triangle because these are powerful. Hostiles. You want to stay within the battle triangle. Okay, now you can see my chasers right there, and it's a D7. I'll go ahead and get rid of him, and then we'll talk about it. So you want to go away from him, push attack, recall, and stop. You got to be careful not to do too long, or you'll warp out of the system. But he'll slow down, and he's completely. If you try to hit him, you'll freaking die. But he's pretty well turned off now. He's not going to chase you anymore. And this is the ship you want to stay with. And it doesn't matter which level it is. This could be a 40, it could be a 35. I don't know how low the system goes, but it could be a 40, it could be a 70. It doesn't matter. It has this dilith. See right there. This dilithium destabilization, 90% chance at the start of combat to destabilize a player's warp core and instantly destroy the ship. They're not completely unbeatable because when the game was broke the other day, I kept getting stuck in warp into the system, and I actually survived one. So look, we've got 2 down. And you can see I have a minimal no damage there at all. Oh, I got some, but you know, Like I said, I was on the pace of doing over 120, close to 130 hostiles on one hole. And that's amazing in this thing because it's... Now, the only problem when trying to grind with power, it's not going to do much for you in the store because you've got bonuses that it's not going to show. Like, let's look and see how much I got here. I've got 4,820. And this is just a power deal. So, but it shows right here when you do the rewards. So I'm getting a 3,400 rep points for each one. Look how paltry the loot is. So you need a loot crew to actually get the loot. But the way Mr. Tiger decided this thing, you're going to have to decide whether you want to score reputation or loot. You can't really do both very well. Not saying it's impossible to do it, but if you're going to shoot way down, your reputation you're gaining between these hostiles, they drop off pretty much. And you can see I've done, we'll do about 25 of them, and I'll cut the video off there. And you can see kind of how well this crew does against these. And like I said, stay with the battle triangle as much as possible. I'm lucky right now there's nobody in this system grinding with me. And I don't think there'll be that many people on my server that could. To be quite honest with you, I know about 4 guys that probably could grind in here with me. There might be guys that try and only hit like 5 hostiles and have to leave, but I think there's probably 4 or 5 guys on my server that could come up here and effectively grind. Now I've got a guy in my alliance that's already finished the reputation. But he's an insane grind. I would consider myself a big time grinder, but I'm not in his league. Like there's any type of grind event, he has to win. It's not that he wants to win; he has to win, and he will grind until the stars come home. But we'll do like I said, we'll do like 25 of them, and you can see what kind of loot I got off of this, and we'll see where my hole is. You can see I'm almost there. I'm at 15 right here, and I just got a sliver of hole gone. So like I said, I was on pace to do close to 130, over 120 for sure. But the key thing was my bridge crew, and the little tweak I did below deck to put the shred officer in there too. So I'm building my apex barrier, and I'm taking theirs down with the addition of those 2 officers. So that's 19. So we're going to do 6 more. And we'll see where we're at. And you can kind of gauge one, as little as when I did like 4 or 5 of them, and you couldn't even see any hull damage gone at all. You can't really gauge on that. So, like I said, I did a half hull because I was trying out the one I was telling you with Pike Monroe, whatever the what's his name? I'll wait till this is done. And then when I was done, I said, well, yeah, DeGiorgio would probably be better than him. I did Pike, Monroe, whatever. Did about 80 of them with them. And, so you know what? If I put DeGiorgio on here and Janeway, that would be the ultimate crew for this, because I saw how much boosting my shred was, my Apex was. How about shredding? It's learning what these hostiles, their abilities are. It'll help you out a lot. So we're going to do 2 more, and we'll cut this video, and we'll do a part 2 for loot crews. I'll show you the loot crew that I'm using, and there are other, there are people who use other ones that I don't, because I think they take too much damage. Let's see. So there we are. I think I did 26. Yeah. No, that's 25. So we got 25 drop boxes. We got 25. And what that does, the drop boxes give you these common trophies, which is, you're going to be able to do that when you with some stuff for con. Here, when we, like I said, we got to open that, get to that part where the champion part matters. Right now it doesn't matter, but what it does give you, as far as loot, you can say I got a bunch of epic, then I got got some rare, and then I got some uncommon, and then I got no common, and that's part of the problem of this arc. And there's another hostile that's in all the systems. There's going to be a Botany Bay survey. It's going to be the bonus loot ship, and man, it gives you a bunch. It gives you all 4 of them. So they're worth hitting. A 70% chance to survive, 30% chance to die on it. And it does. It's the same difference. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what level they are. It's the same as the attacker ship. But I've been sent home a few times by the survey ship, but it's worth the gamble. This surely isn't. You gotta so you're gonna 10 times out of 100 you can survive. So if you want to roll those dice, you do get some extra loot from these guys. See, but it's not worth the gamble, I don't think. Versus, let's see, one of these. It's not worth the gamble. And if you can help not to bring an explorer in here, it's where there's the loot goblin right there. Let's get it. There's one right there. We're going to get lucky. Maybe. It might send me home. You'll see what I'm talking about. They're not much powerful than the hostile that's in there if you don't get the go home cannon. You can see it didn't like crush my whole health, but what it did do, now watch. We'll go back into my deal. Now I've got 102,000 common where I didn't have any, and it bumped up my other ones quite a bit. So those are always I think they're always worth a shot. But anyway, so that's going to be the video. I hope this helped you out. Until next time.